Great, I'm live. Hello, everyone. Who is in the house with me? I'm super excited to be here today. Is anybody in the house with me? If you are right here in the house with me, I want you to start by introducing yourself. So you need to tell me your name and where you are joining us from so that I can acknowledge you. So just type in the chat box. You'll see the chat box by your right-hand side. Please type in your name and where you are joining us from so that we can start the webinar. So this webinar is for those who want to pass their ATS exam that is coming up in a few days or a few weeks or a few months' time. So, yeah, if you are there in the house, please indicate your presence in the chat box by telling me your name and where you are joining us from. So I can see a number of us in the house. So welcome if you are just joining us. Please tell me your name and tell me where you are joining us from. If you have Musa from Kano, you say Musa from Kano. If you have Joseph from Jos, you say Joseph from Jos. Or Damilola from Lagos. Or Shade from Abeokuta. And if you are Effiong from Calabar or from Uyo, put it there. If you are Good Luck from Bayelsa, please put it in the chat box. Let me be sure that you are here. Today we are going to start a super interesting topic for ATS student. ATS, Accounting Technician Scheme student. So who is there in the house? I need somebody to type in the chat box your name and where you are joining us from so that I can acknowledge you. All right. Nobody is bailing the cat. Who is bailing the cat? Type in the chat box your name and where you are joining us from so that we can start. All right, Esther, that's the first person. Ray, ladies first. What a guy can do, a lady can do. Thank you, Esther from Lagos, for joining us. Who else is in the house? I can see a number of us here. At least 6 of us are online watching me. So don't be shy. This might be a new experience for you when you are doing your ATS. Wow, thank you very much. Yes, Esther says yes. Okay, somebody else. Ilekuba, I hope I spelled your name right, from Ekiti. Wow, how is Ekiti this evening? I hope you are super safe. So welcome. So if you can hear me clearly so that we can start, right? Say yes, I can hear you. And then we'll be starting immediately. You can hear me clearly, say yes, I can hear you. You can hear me clearly. Type in the chat box by saying yes, I can hear you. Okay, good evening. Chubueze, welcome. Thank you, Chubueze. Where are you joining us from, Chubueze? Yeah, Andrew from Lagos. Thank you for joining. All right, I'm super excited today to bring this webinar to you. So I'll be sharing my screen so that we can just go right away and start. So Esther says she can hear me. Welcome everyone. Yes, thank you, Chubueze. You also can hear me. And where are you joining us from, Chibueze? Oh, from Lagos. That's very good. All right, let me share my screen and go straight to my presentation. Right. So I want to be sure you can see my slide. You can see my slide. I need you to say, yes, I can see your slide, so that we can just start right away. You can see my slide. Say, yes, I can see your slide. And then we will start immediately. All right. Chibuze, can you see my slide? Esther, can you see my slide? Say, yes, I can see your slide. So I just want to be sure I'm not alone here, right? I want to be sure I'm not alone. Okay, welcome. Yes, I can see your slide. Thank you for that feedback, Esther. So welcome to the webinar. This webinar is tagged question and answer session on why students fail the ATS exam. So we want to discuss the reason why students fail and what you can do to avoid that pitfall. So the essence of this webinar is to guide every one of us that are on this webinar, which are ATS students, on how to pass the ATS exam this very, very diet. All right. Olayinka Oluwatosin, welcome. Yeah, thank you. You can see my slide. So the essence is to help everyone on this webinar pass this diet exam, irrespective of the situation you find yourself right now. Even if you have not started preparing, you can still pass this exam. So I want to introduce myself. I think my name is Tayo Stephen. I'm an ACA. ACA means Associate Chartered Accountant of ICANN. I'm also an ATS graduate. And I will tell you the story briefly about myself. I started my career, my entire career after my secondary school. I started with ATS. So luckily for me, I found a job that time as a messenger in one of the multinationals. So I was very happy. How much was I earning that time? I was earning about 500 naira per month, approximately 7,000 naira per year. That was my salary in 1992. So after I did my WAEC and I didn't pass when I was in school. I didn't have maths and English. So when I finished, I did GCE. Still, I didn't have maths. I went back again and did GCE before I could get maths. So I think in 1994 or thereabouts, yeah, I started ATS. Somebody advised me, one of my mentors advised me and say, go and do accounting. I said, accounting? I didn't do accounting when I was in secondary school. The last time I did accounting was in my GS3. That was the last time, and I hated it that time. So when this God sent mentor, she saw me in the office that time. I was very young, and he said, "What do you want to become?" I said, "Ma, I want to become a pharmacist." He said, "Why do you want to become a pharmacist?" I said, "Well, because I like in this company where we are working, they give every pharmacist a car." And then she said, no. There's no money in pharmacy. Go and do accounting. That was all she told me. I said, accounting? Wow. And that time where I was working in the account department, 10 people will register for the exam, right? 10, for instance. And they will go for the exam and 10 of them will fail. I was scared. I said, this accounting, I'm not sure I want to do this accounting. That everybody is doing and failing. And I wasn't good in maths. And now I wasn't good in maths. Anyway, as God will have it, to cut the long story short, I collected the ATS form and I registered as an ATS student because that's what I could do then. My results could only allow me do ATS because in those days, you can do ICANN professional with your WAEC if you have maths and English, credit in maths and English. You can start with foundation. But if you have pass in maths and English, then you can only start from ATS. And remember I told you that I have pass in my WAEC, and then when I did my GCE, pass in maths, when I did my GCE, I had pass again. I couldn't get a credit. By the time I would do it the third time, the result was not out, and I decided that I should not be wasting time. I just took my WAEC and GCE results I had, and I registered for ATS with it. Luckily, ICANN registered me, and I started my ATS exam. All right. Within that ATS, I was able to finish ATS. I think we had ATS 1 and 2. I can't really remember now whether there was, I think it was ATS 1 and 2. If my memory doesn't fail me. I hope so. I don't know whether there was ATS 3 then. But when I did my ATS 1, right, I failed. I didn't have anybody to mentor me. I didn't have anybody to coach me. And I'll tell you why I failed. I failed because I was not wise. I was young, dumb, and stupid. Just like when you are in your early, how old was I? I think I was 21 years. I hope so, 21 or 22 years old when I started my 8 years, right? So I was very young. A lot of you are younger than me now that you are doing your 8 years, and there's a lot of prospect for you now than it was in my time. Okay, enough of me. Let's go on. So before you start doubting yourself that you can't pass this ATS exam, or maybe you have even attempted it before and you failed, or you think that ATS exam is too difficult to pass, I want you to see the short testimony of the people that will be showing you who were in your situation, and one way or the other, yet they passed the ATS exam. So here to my left, you will see here Gloria. You say, I'm grateful, Starry Gold, for your ever support and motivation. I passed. So this is Gloria in our Telegram class. Our Telegram class is a free class that we provide for everybody, right? Then to my right, okay, that is still Gloria. Then this is another person. This is Ushemani. You say, I just checked and I passed. Congratulations. So that is Koshemani. If you look at her face, she's not up to 20 years old. If you look at her face, she looks so young. Then to my right, Dauda Balogun here said, I'm grateful for your support. I passed 3 papers, remaining 1. Thanks for the free tutorial. That is Adebisi, and words of encouragement. I really appreciate it all. I passed all. That means I passed all my papers. All right. Then Yetunde down here to my right, he said, I passed all my papers. So these are real testimony of people that have done the exam and they passed. All right, this is Adam. Adam said here that I passed the exam. I'm so grateful. So yes. So now let's get into the discussion. If anybody have done the exam and passed, then you yourself, you can pass the exam. So from the story I spoke of earlier on, you will know that I wasn't a very bright student. I didn't come up with A1 in my WAEC. I started my ATS with pass in maths and English, right? That's what I started with. And today I'm a chartered accountant. So if me, an average student, could pass ATS, then what about you? So to give you specific solution on how you can pass ATS exam this diet, I will state different issues that students are facing and the solution that we have. So if you are ready, say, I am ready. Please type it in the chat box. Say, I am ready. Who is ready to go with me? Say, I am ready. Are you ready? Say, I am ready. I want to see that in the chat box. I am ready, so that we can move on. I am ready. Yes, Gabriel from Lagos, thank you for joining. Say, I am ready. So if you are just joining us, let me know where you are joining from. Your name. Okay, Doka say I'm ready. Good. Gabe say I'm ready. Thank you, Esther. So Esther, I've typed some question here. Yes, I want you to, Andrew say I'm ready. type in your question in the chat box. I'm going to look at them before we finish, right? So, Esther, thank you for your question as well. All right, so I can see I am ready. I am ready here. Good. Now let's go. This was a question we got from a student that failed the exam. He said, I failed the exam several times. What can I do to pass? All right, there are several things you can do to pass. If you fail the exam, it means that you were using a strategy that did not work. And I'll give you one of the strategy I used that didn't work that time. So when I started my ATS 1, remember I'm also a Christian, born again. I'm proud to say that anyway. So I'm very religious, right? So there's no online classes, internet around that time. So that time, lectures are on Saturdays and Sundays. So on Sunday, we have statistics in the morning, I think from 8 to 11. But remember I told you that I wasn't very good in mathematics. So instead of me to go to class and learn, I will go to church. After church service, I will pray to God that God give me understanding. I never knew that God cannot give you understanding for a course you are not studying for. You have to be learning something before you can understand it. So the long story short is that we will finish church service on Sunday by, I think, 10 or 11 o'clock. And I'll get to the lecture center late. Of course, the statistics class would have finished by that time. And when the statistics class finishes, I didn't understand what they did. There was nobody to explain to me. I collected notes. I copied the notes. Did I even collect notes? Nobody borrowed me their notes. So I think I ran to do photocopy. Remember that it's every weekend that we were meeting. So if you borrow somebody your notes and they take it away, if that person doesn't come the following week, you won't get it that week till the third week. You get my point. So it so happened that the long story short was that I had what we call double star in statistics and I think one other course. I failed woefully. It was after I failed woefully that I changed my strategy. Then, and some of those strategies we'll be discussing as we go along, right? But I changed that strategy. And when I changed that strategy, I now went in and I passed. I now went in for ATS2 and I also passed. And that's how I passed my ATS before I now gain exemption and move to, we have P1, P2, P3 that time. We have foundation, P1, P2, P3. So I was exempted foundation level. So I started from P1. So stay tuned. This other person said, I'm very busy with my other academic study. Some of you are already in school, maybe in polytechnic or in the university. And you said, yeah, I'm very busy. How do I combine that with my 8 years? At the end of this webinar, I'm going to share with you a powerful testimony of one guy that got chartered at the age of 17. He started doing 8 years like you guys here. He's also a graduate now. He has finished his BSc and he's already a chartered accountant, right? So if you are busy with your academic, what should you do? The first thing I will advise you is get our video lecture. Make sure you are studying with video. Don't study with pack because there will be too much for you. Why should you study with video? Because it cuts the time you will learn, you will use to study. It cuts it by three quarter. And this is what I mean. If you are studying and going for classes, ATS classes, and all of that, right? The things that will take you 8 hours to cover in the class, when you use video lecture, you will cover what you will cover in class for 8 hours, you will cover it in 2 hours. That's why you should use video. If anything, I don't have money to pay for the exam. Yes, when I was doing my ATS exam also, I didn't have money to pay. I borrowed though. I joined the cooperative of the company I was working that time. And the chairman of the cooperative, I befriend him, right? And he's a very great man, a good man that wanted my success. So I told him, sir, I don't have money. I'm preparing for exam. please give me loan. He said, but you are not qualified for loan. I said, yes, sir, I want you to please help me with your office. So he granted me loan. I'll use it to pay for my lecture, pay for my exam. So by the time the result is out, I collect salary, and where I was working that time, they will reimburse you once you pass the exam. So once they reimburse, before they will even be talking of reimbursement, because it takes a while, you understand, I will just immediately pay back the loan and collect another loan and pay for the exam. So the first time I failed the ATS, they didn't reimburse me, because anytime you fail, they won't reimburse you. It's only when you pass, they will reimburse you the money for your success. So what happened was that gingered me a lot. It gingered me a lot to start preparing. Okay, Olayinka, I've seen your question here. I'll try and address it. Please keep typing your question. Let them keep coming in, because I would like to talk about them before we go, right? So what I want to say is that if you have uncle, nieces, whoever you have, go and tell them to give you a loan. Don't tell them to dash you or give you money. Tell them to borrow you, that you want to invest in your future. And so use the money, prepare for the exam, right? Because it's an investment. And this is the investment that will pay a good dividend. People say, I'm still in school, can I write the exam? The answer is yes, you can write the exam. So you can write the exam depending on the course you are doing. But whatever course you are doing, you can use video lecture to prepare for your exam. Can I combine my University of Polytechnic study with ATS? The answer is a big yes. But if you don't have admission yet, continue with your ATS and move into your ICANN. The good thing is that when you have your ICANN now, there are universities that will give you direct entry. A university like Babcock will even give you direct entry to come and spend, is it just 1 year? I think it's 1 year, 1 or 2 years, and they will give you BSc. All right. So the opportunity are much now. So you can combine them, just like the guy I will be sharing with you. His real name is Testimony. Yeah, he was able to combine that. I failed countless time. How can your tutorial help me in passing? All right, stay tuned. I'll tell you how our tutorial can help you in passing, because it has helped a lot of people to pass, just like the testimony I shared earlier. So if you are just joining us, please remember to tell me where you are joining us from, and your name and where you are joining us from, so that I can acknowledge your presence. This person says, I'm using other textbook already. Is that enough? If you are using other textbooks to study, I will not discourage you. But see, in my hand is ICANN pack for one particular course in the professional level. This is about 900 pages, almost 1,000. Now, tell me how long it will take you to finish this if you are preparing for the exam and you have just few days or few weeks or few months to the exam. So using textbook is not the most effective way of studying for your ATS. Use of video is the most effective way to prepare for your ATS exam, right? So if you are using textbook, it can be very overwhelming. When you pile up different textbooks, it can be very overwhelming. So use textbook as a backup. After you have gone through your video and you still feel you want to flip through textbooks, then you can do that. This person said, I will not be writing this diet, I will write next diet. I always discourage people who want to shift from one diet to the other. Please don't do that. Don't postpone the exam. You remember COVID in year 2020? There were people that want to do their ATS exam in 2019 September that would have become certified accounting technician, right? Who would have finished the ATS exam, but they postponed it and say, no, I will do it in March 2020. But before you know, COVID came and everywhere there was lockdown in March. The exam could not hold. Everything was postponed and people lost their job. So there were people that their parents would have paid for their exam, but their parents lost their job. And so when it was the time to do the exam in September, they couldn't. And some of them have not been able to do the exam even up till now. Don't let that be your story. So the good thing now is that do the exam. Even if it is one paper you can sit for one paper, but don't skip anything. Excuse me. All right, but don't skip any exam. When you skip exam, your momentum will go down. It's just like a big trailer. When you see a big trailer that want to climb a hill, it's very difficult. If the trailer is standing at the bottom of the hill and you start it and you want to climb. But if the trailer is coming with high speed and approaching the hill, you find out that it will be easier to accelerate that hill. It's the same thing with your study. If you postpone, you skip any diet, you are like the trailer that is at the bottom of the hill that is starting now and you want to climb. It will be more difficult. But when you don't skip any diet, even if you did last diet and you did not pass, right? Still do the next diet. Still do the next diet. That was what I did. When I started my ATS, I think in 1993 or 1994, I didn't skip any diet from ATS to my professional exam. I did, I think, 8 exams in all. I did not skip any one at all. Anyone, both my ATS and my professional exams, I didn't skip any diet. So don't skip any diet for any reason except health reason or emergency. And God will not allow us to have emergency cases. In Jesus' name. If you are there, say amen. I'm not trying to preach you. All right. This person said, this is my first time to sit for ATS exam. Where do I start from? So if this is your first time to sit for this exam, where do you start from? Start with past questions. So where I was working that time, I remember that when, like I told us, the account department, let me say 10 people will go for the exam and 10 people will fail. So I was scared. I said, this exam must be very tough. But something came to my mind. Look at the past question. I picked the past question and I looked at it. When I looked at it, I saw that, well, this question, I understand this question. I now picked the solution. I read the solution. I felt that if I read very well and I put the answer down, this kind of solution I'm seeing now, if I put it down in the exam, I will pass. So I started solving as much past question as I can. So with your own time now, with the age of technology, we have picked all the past question for ATS, right? At least for the last, if I'm not mistaken, I think the last 6 to 8 diets, and we have solved them in video format. So they are inside our video. Start from there. Start going through the question and answer video and see how the questions are asked, see how they were solved, and then your confidence level will come. Now, my child just finished secondary school. This is another question. Can he do ATS? Can he start ATS? The answer is a big yes. My sincere advice to the parent that sending this question is that let your child start. If admission come along the way, good. If admission does not come, good. The guy that I told you about, his name is Testimony. That was what his father did for him. The father allowed him to start ATS. And before you know it, he passed his ATS. I think with the ATS result, he was able to get direct entry into OAU. That is on Obafemi Awolowo University, Ife. And it was why he was there. But remember, he used our video, so he passed. So it was why he was there. He still used our video for his professional and he qualified. So if admission comes, that is good. If admission does not come, still continue. It's better than doing JAM 1 year and jam you. You do JAM year 2, jam you again. 5 years you are still doing JAM and JAM is jamming you when you could have done ATS and pass within 1.5 years and use your ATS to go and do your some polytechnic accept ATS for HND because ATS is equivalent to OND and they accept it for direct entry. So don't waste time, right? Sir, ma, please do that for your child. I failed because I did not have enough time to prepare. Yes, nobody really have enough time to prepare. But like I said earlier on, if you want to save time, use video lecture, right? Okay, yeah. Chubueze, yeah, I will come back to you. You say, yes, I combine my polytechnic study with ATS. Yes, it's combinable. Yes, I need area of concentration on cost accounting. That's Olayinka. All right, we'll come back to that, right? So he said, I don't have enough time. Nobody really have enough time. But like I told you, if you use video lecture, you will cut your time by 3/4. Your best bet is to use video lecture. And then you can finish the entire syllabus within 30 days if you use our video lecture and the 30-day challenge that we have put there. That 30 days challenge will help you do what? It will help you to cover the entire syllabus because we'll tell you each day what topic to cover, right? For each topic, for each chapter. And if you follow it, you will come and share testimony when the result is out. This person I failed ATS exam several times. I'm about to give up. Well, what will I say? I wanted to give up that time when I did my ATS1 and I failed because that time, I was the one sponsoring myself. I didn't come from a rich background, so my parents could not help me, right? But like I said, I was lucky that I have a job. So, but when I did that exam that time, due to my stupidity, right? Instead of going for a lecture, I was going to church and I was praying to God that God, you see, I'm coming here to serve you. So because I'm serving you, you must help me to pass. When I failed that exam, nobody told me to stop that stupid action. I had to stop. I have to tell my leaders, I prepare for exam. I can no longer be a worker until I finished because I knew that when I passed my ATS exam and I become a chartered accountant, I can be more useful to God that time than if I drop out and I didn't finish my ATS. If I didn't finish my ATS, what will I have the courage to be here to talk to you guys today? The answer is no. So if you give up, they say quitters never win and winners never quit. So failure is not what defined you. Nobody that have succeeded that didn't fail one way or the other. But you have to change your strategy because there's something you are doing wrong. So, and that's why you are here for this webinar. Use video lecture and follow the methodology I'm going to talk about. You pass your exam. This other person say, I failed the exam several times. What can I do to pass this diet? Use video lecture. If you have done last diet, there are some knowledge you already have. So don't go looking at big pack. Just start solving past questions. Solve as much past questions as possible because you will fail the exam or you will fail a particular question if the first time you are seeing that question is in the exam hall. I will repeat that again. If the first time you are seeing a particular question, the first time you see that question, maybe let's say financial accounting, the first time you are seeing that question that looks like that is in the exam hall, you are likely to fail that topic or that question, right? And if there are enough like that, you will fail the exam. So solving past question, examiners do not really manufacture questions. They are going to a place to pick it. So what we are doing is that we've solved all the past questions and we have put it inside our video lecture for you. Not only that, if you are in our Telegram class, we ask our lecturer not to be repeating questions. They too will go and search textbooks for questions that we are giving out as weekly assignments. And sometimes, some of those questions do come out in the exam. Why? Some people feel that our maybe the examiner, one of our lecturers is the examiner, so they are giving us the question. The answer is that is not true. The truth of the matter is that when examiners are preparing questions for the exam, they go and search textbooks and search everywhere for questions. And if they are searching and our own lecturer are also searching, sometimes we never know, they may be checking the same textbook and they will pick the same question, right? Why our own lecturer will come to the class and present the same question, not knowing that the examiner has picked the same question, adjusted it for the exam. So when you reach the exam hall, you say, wow, I've seen this question before. That's the way it works. Solve as much past question as possible. This person said, what if I fail? And my own answer is, what if you pass? What if I pass? So you have to have what we call positive attitude. Don't always expect the worst. Expect the best right? Put in your best, pray hard, work hard, and expect the best, right? But follow proven strategy that work. Don't do like I did then, where I was praying in the church and I didn't go for classes. I failed. Don't do like I did. That's not wise. How can I prepare for ATS exam? I've already talked about this, so I'll move on and I'll talk more about that. I'll give you the steps that you will use to prepare for this exam so that you can pass. This other person sending this question say, I'm just afraid of writing this exam. Yes, it is normal to be afraid. You see, what is fear? Fear means false appearances appearing real. False experience appearing real. False experience appearing real. That is what fear is about. Now, you always be afraid of what you don't know. So when you start preparing for the exam and you start solving past questions, your confidence level will start coming up, right? You will no longer be afraid. So if you have your question and you have not posted it here, please post it in the chat box because I'll be looking at them. I'll be looking at them before we go. So post it in the chat box. So when you prepare, your confidence level will come up. Remember that anytime you want to do something for the first time, there is that fear there. But when you prepare very well, right? When you prepare very well, you will still have fear in your head, but courage in your heart, right? So even though you are afraid, still register for the exam. Confront your fear. This person said, I don't have the confidence to write this exam. It's the same thing like I said earlier. Confront your fear. Prepare very well for it. Use the right material like our video lecture. And then attend a Telegram class. And then ask questions. Solve as much questions as possible. You will definitely pass. So in conclusion, what is the standard way any student can pass ATS exam, even if the person is writing for the first time? And the person, even if you didn't do accounting in school, just like I didn't do accounting in my WAEC, even if you don't have accounting background, and even if you do not have much time to study, what strategy should you use? So I'll be discussing that. The strategy is here on the screen. The first one is a 30 days blueprint. Now, what is the 30 days blueprint? The second one is video tutorial. Now, what is video tutorial? I will also explain that. The third one is online classes. What is online classes? I will also explain that. Then weekly question and answer, and then mock. So I go back to the first one, 30 days blueprint. What we have done is very innovative. No tuition center in Nigeria have done it the way we have done it. And we have done it because it has worked, right? So the truth was that we used to run physical classes before. We used to run physical lectures. And we now, before we started running digital lectures, we found out that the students who attended our digital lectures were performing better than those who come for our physical class. And then we did a survey and asked the question, why? We found out that those who come for physical class, sometimes they miss class. Sometimes it's because they were sick. Sometimes some of them are in school. And the time for class clash with when they are preparing for their semester exam, so they can't come. Some of them is because rain fell or traffic or work, whatever. So, and you know that when you miss physical class, when you go back to class, nobody, even the lecturer will not give you a free lecture. They will repeat that class. But those who come for our digital class, they don't miss classes because their lecture is with them. Once you have your Android phone, you can store your lecture there. If you have laptop, you can store your lecture there. So whether you are in class, you are in the university or in the polytechnic or college of education, you can study on your own at home, in your dormitory, or anywhere you are, right? You could study on your own. So we found out that because they don't miss class, they were able to catch up, they were able to study, they were able to pass. So when we discovered that, we shut down our physical class because our goal is that we want you to pass. Yes, you will pay us when you buy our video, but we want you to pass. I want you to pass easily. So that 30 days blueprint is that we pick all our videos, we break them into 30 days. and then we'll tell you what you will cover day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7, day 8, day 15, day 17, day 29 day, and on the 30th day. If you follow that blueprint, you will finish the syllabus at least 2 times before the exam, right? You'll finish the syllabus at least 2 times before the exam. Some students used to tell us, why do we insist that you should finish it 2 times before the exam? Some students used to tell us that when they get to the exam hall, and they see a similar question they have seen before in the video, they'll be a kind of hearing the lecturer reading the answer to them. Do you know where that is coming from? You know, if you sit down, you are listening to a music, whether it's a music you like or you hate, it doesn't matter. This is the way the mind works. Whether it's a music you like or you hate, once you listen to it long enough, after a while, when you are alone, right, that music will start playing back in your mind, even though you are not playing it, you are not singing it. I'm sure some of us have had that experience before. If you have had that experience, tell me yes in the comments chat box. Let me be sure you are with me. If you have listened to a music before, over and over, whether it's a bad music or it's a good one, and after a while, when you are alone, that music is playing back in your mind, and you are surprised that I'm not. This thing is just singing back to me. Type yes in the comment in the chat box, just to be sure you are following me. So I'm waiting for you. Type yes there, just to be sure you have experienced that. If you have not experienced that, I have experienced it many times. So, and that's why, okay, thank you, Adejare. Yes, I always experience that. Thank you for that confirmation. So that's why we say use video. You see, when you read textbook, you don't have that experience. You understand? But when you use video and you watch video, right, and you do it at least 2 times. If you have time, do it more than twice. When you are in the exam hall and you see a similar question, it will be effortless. The thing will just be coming back to you. You will just hear the lecturer voice, more like telling you the answer. And all you need to do is to be writing them down. And before you know it, you'll come out and you'll pass. So I've explained the 30 days blueprint. And yes, okay, Andrew said yes. Yeah, Kuyoro, thanks. You said yes, you also got that too. All right. So that's the experience we have brought in here. Then they thought that's what the video lecture is all about. You will need our video lecture to follow our 30 days blueprint so that it will be simple, because that's what we simplify for you. Then the third one is our Telegram class. If you are not on our Telegram class, we'll send you the link, right? We'll send you the link in your email after this webinar, right? You need to join it. So that Telegram class, we are paying lecturers to provide support for those who got our videos, and even those who didn't buy our video. So if you know your friends are preparing for ATS and you are in the Telegram class, please send them the link. Ask them to join, right? And send them the link, because we pay lecturers to give you those support. So in that Telegram class, I move to the next one. The lecturers provide weekly lectures. So you have lecture summary notes for free, and then weekly questions. So attempt those questions as they come every week. And of course, we will give you the solution. The solution is in the member area. Then before the exam, we also do mock. Make sure you attempt the mock. So if you follow these 5 points that is on the screen, you will pass the exam. Make sure you go through the blueprint, the video lecture at least 2 times. Currently, we are running the 30 days challenge, right? I don't know the days we are now, right? But we are running it. Join the challenge. After we finish with this challenge, we are likely to run another one before the exam, if time permits. Join the challenge and participate, right? Join the challenge. So I've already explained how the blueprints work. The blueprints just pick the entire syllabus and break them into 30 days for us, right? All right, this is the guy, Mr. Nelson Itunuoluwa Nelson. That is his name, right? You can see how young he is. So this is a souvenir that the father sent to us to tell us that he's celebrating his son's success. the person who became chartered accountant at the age of 17 years old. Yes, this is him again. He became a chartered accountant at the age of 17, right? So this is him on the screen again, the youngest qualified accountant in town. The father called me and said, what is the youngest age anybody have qualified? I said, sir, when I qualified, I was 25 years old plus. And I believe I was the youngest in my time. But I have seen others, they have broken that record. They say, congratulations, you have another person, the newest chartered and the youngest chartered accountant in town. So I became curious. So I contacted them. That's when they told me the story. They joined, they got our video lecture. The dad got the video lecture for the son for ATS, and the son used it. Through the ATS exam, when he qualified, he gained admission, direct entry into OAU. He continued using our video lecture for the professional level, and he got qualified in year 2020. In year 2021, he did his induction. He's a chartered accountant now, and he has already finished his BSc. You see, so this is I'm sharing this to challenge every one of us here that don't say I'm too young. So this is somebody that have cracked the code, right? So how will the online class, weekly class, and mock exam help you pass this exam? How? All you need is our 30 days blueprint, a video tutorial, our online classes, a weekly question and answer, and a mock. Do all of this and you will pass. Do all of this and you will pass. That is the guarantee. If you don't have a video lecture and you want it, this number on the screen, send a WhatsApp, text, or call, right? If you send a text or you send WhatsApp, we'll respond to you. If you call and nobody pick, maybe we have closed for the day, right? If otherwise, we'll call you back. We'll call you back when we resume the next day, right? So anytime you call and nobody picks, it means we have closed. So write down those numbers. The first one is 070-868-10335. The second one is 080-234-28420. The last one is 08123-189141. Please write them down, those numbers. So I will leave that on the screen while I go to my chat to see the other question that you guys have asked me. So I'm going there now, and I'm trying to look at the question. If there's any specific question you want to ask me, I'll be glad to answer. Remember, I myself am a product of ATS, and ATS opened the door for me. By the time I got qualified in 1997, I was promoted. Remember, I said I joined the company as a messenger, right? 4 years later, I was a supervisor, one of the highest accelerated promotion in the history of that company. That was what ATS did for me. So in your own case, it's going to do something, right? But make sure you get it. All right. Esther say, please, can I get a summary of today's webinar later tonight? I have to leave where I am now because it's dark and dangerous. Okay. Yeah, you will definitely get a replay link. Yeah, will there be a replay link? I'm not sure. But definitely, yeah, we'll send you a replay link, right? Let me go on. Please, I need area of concentration on cost accounting. That is coming from Olayinka Oluwatoyin Adenaya. Anyway, area of concentration is usually dangerous because, you see, I can't use to flip it. So I will advise you is get the video lecture. The video lecture will already have all the past questions that we could lay our hand on for at least 7 or 8 diets, if not 10, that we have solved and put inside there for you. You can't go through all of them and not pass. So get the video lecture. That's all that you need. So, and if cost accounting is the one that is delaying you, get the video lecture. You will find out that when you get to the professional level, right, it will be easier for you. You will quickly pass PM and all other courses, right? But make sure you get the video lecture now so that you can go on. Yes, I combine my polytechnic study with ATS. That is Chubuzi. Thank you for that. All right. Sir, I mostly read and forget. I don't know what to do. All right. Now, when you read and you forget, usually there's either something that is troubling you in your mind, right? So get a sheet of paper anytime you want to read. If any thought is conflicting in your mind, write them down. Maybe you don't have money for school fees, write it down. Maybe you are worried, write it down. Whatever is disturbing you, capture those thoughts into paper, then they will stop bothering you. Then we have a training from Jim Quick, how to train your memory, right? How to train your memory muscles. See, the memory is like the muscle of the body. If you have to exercise it, right? Jim Quick have that. We'll possibly send a link to everybody that attended this, so you can download that video and watch it. But beside that, get our video lecture and go through this thing over and over again. This time you will not be struggling to remember because it will go into your subconsciousness. Like I told you about the music earlier, when you start listening to a music over and over and over again, you see you don't make efforts to remember. The thing will start playing up on its own even when you have forgotten it. So that's what you should do here. Use video lecture. It will enhance your memory, right? It will enhance your memory. If you still have a question, make sure you drop it there because we're about to round up. If you still have a question, drop it here because we're about to round up. So if you want the video lecture, those are the numbers on the screen. Make sure to write them down, send a WhatsApp, send a text message, or call those numbers. But if you call those numbers or you send a text and WhatsApp and there's no immediate response, then it might be that we have closed for the day. Then you will definitely get a response the following day. All right. So if there's no other question, I'll be bringing the webinar to a close. So I want to thank you for coming. If you really gain something here, I want to see you type it here and tell me what you have gained. I want you to type it here, write into the chat box. Just tell me what you have gotten. So I'll be waiting. I have just less than 5 minutes to go. The rest of us that are online here, is there any one thing you have picked today? Is this webinar worth it? Is it of value to you? Just give me a chat so that I can be sure that you heard me and you like it. All right. So I'm waiting for your response. If you are there, I want to see your response. So we're coming to a close. I'm waiting for you. All right, Chibuzo, sir, this day I find it hard to study this day. What encouraging word can I give you, please? Okay, the encouraging word I can give you is, why are you doing the exam? For me, that time, I know that when I pass, right, I will get promoted. And I wanted to be promoted. I want to stop doing the messenger work I was doing. So you have to look for motivation. What is the thing that, why are you doing this exam? It may be that you want to finish it, set a finish date for it. That I want to finish my ATS by November this year, or by September this year, or by March next year. Set a finish date, right? Then if where you are studying, there's no motivation, then leave that environment. Go to a place that you know will motivate you, right? Go to a campus environment or a library. Then make sure you use video lecture, right? Okay. All right. So in the absence of any, I'll be bringing the webinar to a close. I want to thank you for coming and for listening. I hope you have gotten something of value. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, and God bless you. So you can leave your comments. You can still drop your question. We'll still pick it, and we'll try and answer them and send them back either as email or whichever way, or do an audio note and throw them into our Telegram class, right? Make sure you join the Telegram class. So thank you everyone for coming, and God bless you. Bye.